Hello, Cryptowisers. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Milton, and I will be your captain for this episode. In today's episode, we're going to be doing a deep dive into TrustSwap. TrustSwap, one of the top Launchpad projects out there, but they are much more than that, and they've got a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. So it's time to go in depth and have a look at what is going on over at TrustSwap. All right, guys, you know what to do. Buckle up, because this is going to be another exciting episode of Cryptowise. All right, Cryptowisers, let's get into this. First things first, I want to thank our friends at TrustSwap for partnering with us to bring you this video. All right, the first thing we got to talk about with TrustSwap is the Launchpad service. This is obviously probably what it's best known for. You'll notice too, as I go through the website, they've added a nice little handy support chat function, but we do not need that now. So this is in the Launchpad area for TrustSwap. But for those of you who are a little unclear, because we talk about Launchpads a lot on this channel, pretty much every crypto channel has to, because they're such a huge part of crypto right now. And to be honest, TrustSwap for me was one of the first that I noticed doing the Launchpad. I can't say they're the first to ever do it, but for me, I was introduced to the Launchpad IDO craze through TrustSwap, because I have been an investor in TrustSwap since this summer, and they actually didn't start off as a Launchpad, but they did pivot to include being a Launchpad, and that is actually now what they're most known for, but they also do a bunch of other stuff that we will talk about. So this is an article on the Ivan on Tech Academy page. If you're not familiar with what Launchpads are, I recommend this. They talk about a lot of the popular ones today, but they also go through what a crypto Launchpad is and how it works. So recommend you go here if you need the basics of what a Launchpad is. But they also have a nice little write-up on TrustSwap here on this page, so I'm just going to walk through this now. So they describe TrustSwap as a Swiss Army knife of crypto projects, and that is very accurate. So they're not just merely a Launchpad project, but it is one of the things that they do. They go on to say that the platform has been instrumental in the development of team locks for token launches, which we will talk a lot about, and has created a committed community around the TrustSwap ecosystem. Very true. Holders of the swap token can gain early access to token launches by staking a minimum of 3,000 swap. Now, even though this was written only about a month ago, or maybe 2 months ago, that has changed now to 4,000 swap. So keep that in mind, and we will talk about that as well. And this is really why Launchpad started. So the motivation behind TrustSwap creating a Launchpad was a way to prevent immediate sell-offs and rug pulls after token launches. So even though they can be somewhat frustrating, these Launchpads, when you can't get into the IDOs that you want to get into, really why they're so popular is, one, they can generate some great buzz around an IDO. And if you're excited about a project, you want them to be able to create that buzz. But more importantly, when people started using Uniswap to launch their token, we saw a ton of rug pulls. So projects would just launch on Uniswap, all of a sudden it would be there. Very little information, very little vetting, and a lot of people got screwed over. A lot of rug pulls happen. So that's kind of the major use case for a Launchpad, so that projects can launch securely, safely, in a way that can be trusted by the people who want to invest in the project. And I gotta say, TrustSwap is at the leading edge of being able to create a secure, fair launch. And we're going to talk about why, because they have been very innovative. And I got to tip my hat to the TrustSwap team, because they have been aggressively building new features, thinking about how it can be done better, and executing on those ideas. All right, so now that we know what the Launchpad actually is, essentially for crypto projects to launch and people to get early access to those projects. Very simple how they work. Essentially, you gotta buy TrustSwap, the swap token, if you stake it here on the Launchpad. As I said, if you stake 4,000, you are guaranteed an allocation of the IDO. And as we scroll down here, we can see all the different IDOs that they have launched on TrustSwap, and you can see a lot of the returns on these projects. So this is why you want to be part of these IDO Launchpad projects. Because look at some of these returns, over 3,400% on all-time high on this one. 7,100%, almost 200%, 700%, 600%. Okay, we now have enough data to know that these work. If you can get in on these IDOs, if you're lucky enough, you can make very good profits. And just to talk about that further, this was by Kiros Ventures. They put out this TrustSwap Launchpad ROI. And as you can see, these are all the IDOs down here and the X's that they did. 2.4x, 73x, 14x, 14x, blah, blah, blah. I mean, even 1.9x or 1.3x, it's worth it. And then every once in a while, you get the 63x's, and that is pretty amazing, obviously. All right, and just keep in mind that the requirements for how much you have to stake, that can change. As you can see from that previous article, it used to be 3,000. Right now we're at 4,000. That could keep going up. But if that is kind of out of your price range, if you cannot do 4,000 swap to take part in the Launchpad, another thing, a little tip to remember. So this is a Medium post that they put up for the DCT DAO flash launch that they did. And they always put out these extensive Medium posts explaining every IDO launch that they do. So as you can see, they're going to have down here the requirements. And for this one, again, it was 4,000 staked, or, and this is the important part, the swap score here. If you had 2,500 plus swap score, you would also get an entry. Now, these are starting points. So if you had 7,000 staked, you get more, all the way up to 250,000 staked or 150,000 swap score and up. There you would get a multiplier of 10. So another thing to remember, not all launchpads guarantee you allocation. TrustSwap does, which I like. So for their main launches, for their main net IDOs, the major ones, if you stake your 4,000 or more, you are guaranteed an allocation. Not like some others where it's lottery, you sign up, you may or may not get allocation. That is very important to remember. So ultimately, all you do here is if you had TrustSwap, the swap token, you would connect your MetaMask, you would stake it here, you could see your staking rewards, and then if there was a Launchpad IDO you wanted to take part of, my personal strategy is to take part in all of them. Any ones I qualify for, then you would just sign up here, press start, and it would take you to the sign up. Another nice little feature with TrustSwap is that you can buy it right on the website. If you just scroll over buy swap, as you can see, you can go to Uniswap and buy it, but they also let you buy it with fiat, which is pretty nice. Handy if you don't have any crypto available to buy it, you can buy it directly with your fiat. So that's how the general Launchpad function works. And you can see the stats here. They've done 14. They've raised over $15 million. And they have the one upcoming, which is MobiFi. And you can see here, MobiFi is a flash launch. So this is something that they've innovated. They just launched this new version of an IDO called the Flash Launch about a month ago. And this is because not all projects want to raise a huge amount of money. And so they can't afford a big enough allocation to guarantee it to all the TrustSwap stakers. So these Flash launches will now allow TrustSwap to have many more IDOs. And as they say here, because guaranteed allocations are a requirement for all main Launchpad projects, which is what I was saying, they have to turn down multiple projects who wanted to do smaller raises. And because they're so popular, they didn't want to have to turn these ones down. They're adding this new type of Launchpad, which is the Flash launch. So it's pretty much identical to the regular launch, but it is exclusively for raises under $750,000. And that will be split up into allocations of $500 per person. And for these flash launches, they will have a lottery type of system like many of the other Launchpad platforms have for all their launches. They've separated it out here. They still have guaranteed allocation for their bigger ones. And now they can do all these smaller ones in the way that some of the other Launchpads do it. So in this way, they will no longer have to turn down these smaller IDOs, which obviously added bonus for swap holders. And really, this is what it comes down to when you're looking for a Launchpad project. What sort of utility have they created for the token? Because locking up that much into one token, one, you want to believe in the project long term, in the growth of the value of that token itself. But two, is it bringing you utility? What are you getting for that? And this is where I think TrustSwap has done a better job than a lot of the other Launchpad projects so far. All right, let's start talking about some of these other features. A huge one here. Okay, this is one of the things that I like best about TrustSwap. And this is the smart locks. Okay, this is one of the 3 factors that they talk about the holy trinity of securing an IDO so that it doesn't screw over investors like you and I. So here, teams can lock in their liquidity, lock in the team tokens, and all of it is transparent. It's right here. You can see it. So as you can see, over $1 billion of token value is locked in team tokens. Then you've got over 169 million in liquidity value locked. So no rug pulling. Okay, they lock the liquidity in, you know it's there, it's not going anywhere, and you know the team tokens are only being given out when they should on the vested calendar. And they're up to 547 projects using this service. So this is an amazing aspect of what TrustSwap does. And as you can see, it's not just Ethereum. You got Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, and also Avalanche now on here. Another thing I love about TrustSwap, it's going to be multi-chain. They have announced that yes, they will be going on Polkadot and Binance Smart Chain and even Cardano. They are going to be as multi-chain as they can be. And one of the things I love about this smart lock feature is that they got this by buying out one of their biggest competitors at the time. So you might remember this. This was back in early December. TrustSwap acquires Team.Finance and they cemented their position as a market leader. So Team.Finance was one of their main competitors. And what do? They go out and acquire them. This is the kind of aggressive move you want from a project like this because the Launchpad projects are so competitive now. You want to know that the team is thinking ahead. Are they innovating? 1, and 2, are they aggressive? How fast are they moving? So this was huge news. And at the time, the assets that were locked into Team.Finance was 15,500,000. 45 projects. As you can see, that has grown exponentially since TrustSwap acquired them. So this was a big gamble, an aggressive move, and it has paid off huge for TrustSwap. Down here, again, this is what makes this so important: locked liquidity, team token vesting, and public-facing profile. All right, and that third part of that holy trinity of security is this Mint. It's the TrustSwap Smart Launch Mint. This is coming soon, something they're launching soon. So any project that wants to do an IDO with TrustSwap or anyone else can come use TrustSwap to mint their token. And in this way, they will be able to 100% guarantee that they know all the rules and regulations with that minted token. So say within that token, the project can mint more tokens down the line. If they mint it with TrustSwap, TrustSwap will know exactly how many tokens they're allowed to mint, when, and be able to offer that information up at the IDO so you have it all there. And the beautiful thing is it's bringing more utility to the swap token. So yes, the mint feature with TrustSwap is free of charge for the project. They can come here, mint their token free of charge, no coding required. It's going to be an easy to use minting service for projects. They won't need to buy a very expensive audit for the token. They will know that they can rely on this service to provide them 100% secure tokens. And if you're a swap holder, this is what you want to know. Okay, so anyone using the mint function, 0.5 of the tokens minted go to TrustSwap. So there's no fee, but they get 0.5% of the tokens. Now, out of that, 0.4% are going to be given to swap holders who stake in these mining pools. So this is a whole new utility for swap. Now you're going to have people staking swap to be able to get a piece of the 0.4% of all these new projects that are going to be minting through TrustSwap. This is amazing, super innovative. I have not seen any other project doing anything like this. And then 0.1% goes towards the growth of TrustSwap, which then again benefits any swap holders because they can continue to innovate, like creating this mint service. So I think this is huge. Something they're launching very, very soon. You combine that, if a project mints their token with TrustSwap and then locks their team's tokens up and their liquidity with the TrustSwap Smart Lock and then launches the token in the Launchpad, this is an all-in-one service for any crypto project to launch safely, transparently, in a way that we as investors can rely and trust. And the fact that they're going to be doing this not just on Ethereum, but Binance and Polkadot and Cardano and others, I really think this is going to put TrustSwap ahead of the curve. A lot of those other Launchpad projects are going to have to start catching up, doing other things, innovating, because from an investor point of view, this is just a much better model. All right, so those are the major services, but along with that, they also do much more. So in terms of smart lock, there are other real world applications for that. And then they also offer through the Smart Swap service, enterprise purchasing or escrow purchasing of OTC crypto purchases. When I originally found out about TrustSwap, the narrative around what they were doing was basically monthly payments in escrow through crypto, which I thought was a great use case, and they're still able to do that. As you see here, some of the use cases: automated employee payments, subscriptions, time-locked tokens, gifts, payments, wheel execution. So a lot of other real-world applications. They are not just a Launchpad project. And then again, the enterprise and peer-to-peer escrow application for the Smart Swap service. And then in terms of the tokenomics of the swap token, obviously we've already talked about a ton of utility for it in this video, and we haven't even touched on this one: governance. It's also a governance token because if we look at their roadmap, at the end of the roadmap is TrustSwap DAO. It will be a completely decentralized platform, and the swap token will give you governance, voting power on the future of TrustSwap. That's where it's going. Completely decentralized. Encourage you to have a look at the full roadmap. A ton of stuff going on, as you can see from this video, but there is still more. Yes, that's right. There is still another major thing that we need to talk about, and that is the long-awaited TrustSwap Swappable. That's right. They are going to be doing an NFT and ERC-20 marketplace of their own. It's something they announced a while back, but sounds like it's almost ready to be seen, because in a tweet at the end of March, they laid out their plans for April, and included in that was an April 5th demo of Swappable. So I'm really excited to see that. And then tentative launch of Swappable, a public launch on April 10th. So lots more things to be excited about here. This is a team that does not rest. They have a very successful Launchpad project, but they are not stopping there. They are innovating. They are changing things. And that's what I like to see. As you guys know, on this channel, there are kind of two types of teams that I love. One, the more technical oriented teams, the really kind of software coding geniuses. I love those teams. The second are the entrepreneurs. These are the guys who have the energy to move as fast as crypto moves. And the leader of TrustSwap is their CEO, Jeff Kurdikis. And this guy is of that category. He's been in crypto a long time, but he is an entrepreneur. But what I love about him is his energy, his drive, his innovation. Anytime I look at TrustSwap and I think, where are they going from here? Looks like they kind of peaked out. Something else. They do something else. Like that purchase of Team.Finance. To me, when that happened, was a genius move. I thought at around that time, I wasn't sure where TrustSwap was going to go. They made that purchase, sounded a bit like a hype purchase, and now you can see the benefits. A few months down the road, we see the benefits that it's had. I also love that he's fully transparent, public. He is the public face of TrustSwap, no doubt about it. This is not an anonymous team. This is a team that puts themselves out there. And all the hard work that they have put in has been paying off in terms of value for the swap token. As I said, I have been in on this from very early on in the summer. I was riding the ups and downs back then when it was jumping from 27 cents to over $1, about $1.50, and then it crashed. And then with the rest of the alt market, it crashed. Didn't look very good around November, December. Like many other coins, it was kind of in this 20-cent range. Wasn't sure what was going to happen. But as you can see, since then, it has just been parabolic move up. We had a big correction kind of early March, but since then it is up again, hit an all-time high of 496 and sitting at 474. Really looks like we could be seeing the next leg up for TrustSwap. But what I love about these kind of tokens is, yeah, you have the value of the swap token itself, but even more importantly, it's the utility of it. It's getting in on all these IDOs. So even when the price is stagnant, which it is not right now, you're still getting value for it. And that is, from an investment point of view, kind of a double whammy. You get the value of swap, and then you get the utility of it. All right, guys, that was a lot to digest on TrustSwap, but it's one of those projects we talk about a lot and actually had never done a deep dive. So now you know when we bring it up, you'll have a sense of exactly what they're doing over there at TrustSwap, what makes them different than some of these other Launchpad projects. Highly recommend you follow Jeff on Twitter, follow TrustSwap on Twitter, and follow their Medium. I always tell you guys, Medium is where it's at for these projects. You want to research a project, first thing I do is go to their Medium page, and TrustSwap is a great project for that because they are very active on writing very detailed blog posts on their Medium. All right, guys, before you take off, do me a favor, would you? Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And, of course, join the party over at Telegram. We got a Telegram group going. The link for that is in the description of this video. It is all crypto all the time, 24/7 over on Telegram. So make sure you join us there. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching this video. Until next time, I'm Milton saying over and out.